Good morning, graduates, friends, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Donald McEwen and I'm the chaplain to the university, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this graduation celebration ceremony at the University of St Andrews on this exciting day for you. Presiding at today's ceremony is the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Dame Sally Mapstone. In a few moments, the academic procession will enter the hall. To welcome the academic procession, members of St Salvator's Chapel Choir will lead us in singing the Gaudiamus. Please do join in. The words can be found in your programme. Now, we don't anticipate this, but should the fire alarm sound, please remain seated. The alarm will be silenced, and staff will immediately investigate the cause of the activation. Should an evacuation be necessary, the alarm will then sound continuously, and you will be advised of the need to evacuate. Staff will direct you accordingly. Please follow staff direction and leave the hall by the most appropriate exit. Now, in the absence of that happening, at the end of the ceremony, all our newly confirmed graduates will join the academic procession, leaving the younger hall and walking along North Street and entering St Salvator's Quadrangle through the archway. To supporters here, please wait until all the graduates have left the hall. Ushers will then show you to the nearest exits. Outside, you will be directed to the quad where you will be able to join our graduates. Please ensure that your mobile phone is switched off, or at least onto silent. You are welcome to take pictures and video footage throughout, but please stay seated to do so. To capture this unique moment, our official photographer will now take a photograph of those taking part today before the ceremony begins.
Good morning. The official photographer with the official phone camera. How good is that? Don't worry, I haven't forgotten my camera. Let me see what we've got here. Excellent. Superb. Okay, let's see your smiles, that's lovely. Let's see, excellent. I can see everybody in the room, so let's have it again. Excellent, 1 and 2. Superb, awesome. Enjoy your day, thank you.
Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you enjoy this graduation celebration ceremony. As you're able, please rise for the Gaudiamus. Oremus. Omnipotens et aeterni Deus, actiones nostras omnes aspirando praeveni, et adjuvando prosequere, ut cuncta nostra operatio, et praesertim hoc quod nunc agridimur opus. A te incipiat, e per te coeptum finiatur, quatenus sanctum nomen tuem glorificemus, et misericordia tua vitam aeternam consequamur. Per Iesum Christum Dominum nostrum. Amen.
Please be seated. Good morning, everybody. It is my happy duty as Principal and Vice-Chancellor to welcome you to this summer graduation ceremony at the University of St. Andrews. Graduation is the highlight of our academic year. At these ceremonies, students are celebrated and people of distinction are honoured. We orient our academic calendar around these occasions, and they are a tradition that speaks to the heart of our institutional mission. I am delighted. This historic graduation session marks the resumption of in-person summer ceremonies after a 3-year period in which they were hosted online due to the pandemic. It is thus with a strongly renewed sense of occasion that I can welcome and address you directly, and the joy of this ceremony will be enhanced by the opportunity for our students to celebrate their successes with friends, peers, teachers and loved ones in the usual way. This ceremony also marks our return to the Younger Hall, the home of our graduation ceremonies since it opened in 1929. The Younger Hall closed in July 2019 for an extensive refurbishment that has revitalised this space for the next century of its existence, whilst ensuring that the entire building is fully accessible for all its users. The building's layout and decorations have been refreshed, but are intrinsically unchanged, and the shape of the ceremonies remains the same. Our graduates will cross the Younger Hall stage in a style that unites them with the students who have, for almost a century, crossed it before them. The broader graduation tradition which we observe today has taken place at St. Andrews since the second decade of the 15th century, when the university was founded. And some of the rituals that were established in the 1400s remain an integral part of the ceremony. These rituals honour our history and signify the assumption of each graduate's place within an institution that has done as much as any other to shape our modern world. We are Scotland's first and foremost university, the third oldest in the English-speaking world, and one of the 25 oldest still operating. Across 609 years, students and academics have gathered here to build and disseminate knowledge, and their ambition has proved resilient to the challenges mounted against them. The religious and political regimes that have reared and crumbled, the pandemics and wars that have beaten at the doors. Ours is not, however, a story of survival, but of leadership. St. Andrews has been at the vanguard of political, cultural and intellectual developments since our inception, and our people have steered the hands of monarchs and parliaments since our earliest days. Universities are, by their nature, institutions of forward progress, and we keep an eye perennially to the future so that our research and graduates serve the world with maximum effect. But so too do we cherish our history, which chronicles how similar our activities are in many respects to the time of our foundation, but also the ways in which our teaching and activities have adapted to ensure that our university is not subservient to history, but creates it. Students of 15th century St. Andrews learnt primarily through lengthy orations delivered by their masters and instructors, often in the teacher's private residence, as part of a curriculum focused on logic, metaphysics, and ethics, all inspired by Aristotle. Speaking in the vernacular was forbidden, and teaching and conversation alike were conducted in Latin, which remained our official institutional language until 1747. Examinations took the form of a verbal interrogation by one's professors, and discourse could become so heated that students were known on occasion to descend into violence. Football and, astonishingly, golf were both banned at 15th century St Andrews as too distracting, but archery, an important skill for the defence of the realm, was promoted. This may have occasioned second thoughts in 1470, when, after an unresolved argument, the dean and members of the faculty were set upon by students with bows and arrows. Student life in St Leonard's College over a century after our foundation in 1544 evidenced more of the asceticism of a university founded within a religious capital. Students were awoken at 5 a.m., attended Mass at 6, started class at 7 with a lesson selected by the principal, and continued to learn until well into the evenings. Football was still banned, as now were, it will surprise no one, weapons, and the college strictly prohibited beards and certain groovy fashions. Women were also strictly forbidden, lest they, like football, should prove too distracting, with the exception of a single laundress, and that on the condition that she was over 50 years old. The severity of student life lessened in the 2 centuries that followed, and an increasingly modernized curriculum was enjoyed by some of the foremost luminaries of the time. Adam Ferguson, a renowned Enlightenment philosopher, graduated in 1742. James Wilson, a founding father of the United States, studied here from 1757 to 1761. And 2 eminent 18th century figures were awarded the degree of MD, or Doctor of Medicine, by the university. The French revolutionary Jean-Paul Marat in 1775, and in 1792 Edward Jenner, whose advancements in the prevention of smallpox pioneered modern immunology. By the beginning of the 1800s, St Andrews had become, as described by one contemporary alumnus, a healthy, retired place in which one can learn virtuous and economical habits. Governmental reform, by way of the Universities Scotland Act of 1858, introduced the organisational structures which remain mostly intact to this day. Women were admitted to full-time study in 1892, and by the 1900s, student life resembled many of our current graduates' experiences. Perhaps the greatest evocation of this is in the university's quincentenary celebrations of September 1911, which resemble our activities today. Planning for the anniversary took 3 years and required the erection of a temporary venue to accommodate 3,500 guests. Garden parties spread across the town, speeches were delivered, representatives of 145 universities and learned societies visited, and 100 honorary degrees were bestowed. A student ball took place, as well as a formal banquet for staff and guests in the Belle Pettigrew Museum, and the town came to life with song and celebration. The Younger Hall was a happy outcome of these celebrations. It was built with a lead donation by Dr. James and Mrs. Annie Younger, members of the local St Andrews community, who provided £100,000 for its construction, around £6 million in current terms, and it was opened by Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, in June 1929. Its construction was, however, also supported by funds raised on an early subscription model in honour of the 1911 celebrations, and by which means contemporary alumni laid the foundation of a building that would be enjoyed by so many of their successors. It is their foresight to which the splendour of our current surroundings is owed, and which our graduates will honour by leaving this hall and using their education to change the world for the better, as so many have done before them. Returning now to today's ceremony and the rituals which connect us to our forebears. The first of these you have already witnessed, as St. Salvator's Chapel Choir initiated proceedings with a rendition of the Gaudeamus, and the University Chaplain, the Reverend Dr. Donald McEwen, delivered the opening prayer. As Vice-Chancellor, I preside over these ceremonies and am invested with the authority to confer or confirm degrees, the presentation of which will immediately follow this introduction. This ceremony recognises that the class of 2020 was unable to gather in person in the usual way to celebrate their graduation, and it provides us with an opportunity to redress that paucity of quintessential festivities 2 years later. We also recognise in the process that the members of this graduating class were formally awarded their degrees by me through virtual conferral ceremonies in July 2020. And thus the graduation ritual will today be one in which degrees are confirmed rather than conferred. This graduation celebration will mirror our conventional ceremonies in every way, although the Latin which I will use to confirm the degrees will change very slightly so that we do not risk awarding the same degree twice. The presentation of these awards at bachelor's, master's and doctoral level will constitute the core of this ceremony. I will call upon the deans in turn to present candidates from their respective faculties, and I will then confirm the degree with Latin phrases, one of which, for example, translates as, "I confirm the degree of Master of Arts, and to symbolise this, I place upon you this cap." To most, though, I will simply say, "et super te," meaning "and upon you too." The precise moment of confirmation occurs when the graduate's cap, or birrettum, touches the head of the graduate. This particular academic cap has been used in every ceremony since December 1696, when it was acquired from a St. Andrew's tailor, and it symbolises the assumption of an equal place within our alumni community. When the confirmations are complete, St. Salvator's Chapel Choir will return to deliver a musical interlude, and we are thankful both to the choir and their director, Claire Innes-Hopkins, for the felicity they bring to this occasion. To close our ceremony, it is tradition to invite a member of the university to address our graduates and offer some final words of inspiration and congratulation. Today's guest speaker is the Vice Principal for Research and Innovation, Professor Tom Brown. The ceremony will then conclude with the benediction and the graduation procession. At St. Andrews, the academics and professional staff who have supported you, our graduates, are immensely proud of your accomplishments. But this ritual does not mark the end of your association with St. Andrews, and you have joined a vital community of alumni who have positively shaped the world around them for 609 years and who support one another in the present. So you are not leaving our community, but taking the next step in your St. Andrews experience. And it is our sincere hope that you will continue to engage as a St. Andrean throughout your life. Decanus Facultatis Artium.
Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to confirm the degree of Master of Arts with Honours on Sarah Donald.
Te ad gradum magistri artium confirmo, cuius rei in symbolum super te hoc birrettum impono.
Bella Coxon.
Et super te.
Angela Crenshaw.
Et super te.
Nicholas Lewis.
Et Supete.
Isla Nielsen.
Et Supete.
Susanna Rawling.
Et Supete.
Zoe Voice.
Et Supete.
Maggie Butler.
Et Supete.
Anna Juszczyk.
Et Supete.
Simona Metzina.
Et Supete.
Claire Fogarty.
Et Supete.
Yevgenia Pakomova.
Et Supete.
Ella Davis.
Et Supete.
Kai McGuirk.
Et Supete.
David Abbott.
Et Supete.
Thomas Overend.
Et Supete.
Alexander Waddington.
Et Supete.
Luke Johan.
Et Supete.
Sarah Glover Smith.
Et Supete.
Georgia Luckhurst.
Et Supete.
George Wilder.
Et Supete.
Georgia Davis.
Et Supete.
Samantha Phillip.
Et Supete.
Michael Sansbury.
Et Supete.
Ksenia Mikhailova.
Et Supete.
Sebastian Robson.
Et Supete.
Kirsten Giddy.
Et Supete.
Elliot Jordan.
Et Supete.
Elliot Abadi.
Et Supete.
Alice Chidley.
Et Supete.
Giovanni Correggi.
Et Supete.
Lydia Cotter.
Et Supete.
Hye-Won Han.
Et Supete.
Kaylin Mitchell-Bennett.
Et Supete.
Emma Nightingale.
Et Supete.
Matthew Spencer.
Et Supete.
Evie Kerr.
Et Supete.
Jamie Morrison.
Et Supete.
Joao Protokuri Halal.
Et Supete.
Mariah Dennis.
Et Supete.
Thomas Halverson.
Et Supete.
Julia Bennett.
Et Supete.
Hector McKemmy.
Et Supete.
Alexandre Dieu.
Et Supete.
Milla Björka.
Et Supete.
Margaret Crawford.
Et Supete.
Steve Hartley.
Et Supete.
Isabella Lefonte.
Et Supete.
Mirren Stephen.
Et Supete.
Benjamin Champion.
Et Supete.
Ingrid Glastad.
Et Supete.
Cameron Lawrence.
Et Supete.
Emma Robb.
Et Supete.
Natalia Fronievich.
Et Supete.
Alice Bougea.
Et Supete.
Kelly Butler.
Et Supete.
Pema Ianson.
Et Supete.
Jessica Francois Davis.
Et Supete.
Isabel Kelly.
Et Supete.
Africa Lee Watts.
Et Supete.
Ailey MacDonald.
Et Supete.
Christina Shalash.
Et Supete.
Kirsten Scott.
Et Supete.
Max Gilligan.
Et Supete.
Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to confirm the degree of Bachelor of Arts International with Honours on Juhan Jin.
Te ad gradum baccalaureae artium confirmo, cuius rei in symbolum superte hoc beratum impono.
Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to confirm the degree of Master of Letters on Sophie Louise Bartmann.
Te ad gradum magistri literarum confirmo, cuius rei in symbolum superte hoc beratum impono.
Patrick Bergman.
Et Superte.
Anaël Boisdanguin.
Et Superte.
Ellen Davis.
Et Superte.
Jessica Engver.
Et Superte.
Philip Fackler.
Et Superte.
Ariane Friedman.
Et Superte.
Carissa Goodwin.
Et Superte.
Zoe Gray.
Et Superte.
Rachel Kuhn.
Et Superte.
Paula Leiningen-Westerberg.
Et Superte.
Elliot Malley.
Et Superte.
Rajan Mann.
Et Superte.
Charlotte Peters.
Et Superte.
Maximilian Rink.
Et Superte.
Anna Schaefer.
Et Superte.
And Sarah Schiltz.
Et Superte.
Simon Schwesig.
Et Superte.
Katie Unwin.
Et Superte.
Julia van Leuven.
Et Superte.
Ansley Whitmer.
Et Superte.
Beatrice Williamson.
Et Superte.
Lewis Williamson.
Et Superte.
Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to confirm the degree of Master of Studies by Research on Mark Dawson.
Te ad gradum magistri studiorum confirmo, cuius re in symbolum superte hoc veretum impono. Decanus Facultatis Medicinae.
Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to confirm the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours on Schrif Bacrania.
Te ad gradum baccalarii scientiae confirmo, cuius re in symbolum superte hoc veretum impono.
Lois Barr.
Et Superte.
Rosemary Boardman.
Et Superte.
Stéphanie Brochet.
Et Superte.
Christopher Bunting.
Et Superte.
Lotta Castron.
Et Superte.
Mary Crosby.
Et Superte.
Luciana Krauter.
Et Superte.
Taniola Dowie.
Et Superte.
Phoebe Drew.
Et Superte.
Katie Dunette.
Et Superte.
Joe Edwards.
Et Superte.
Alina Godinez.
Et Superte.
Thomas Goldfried.
Et Superte.
Callum Grant.
Et super te.
Suzanne Haywood.
Et super te.
Ellie Johnson.
Et super te.
Mary Keane.
Et super te.
Sujat Khan.
Et super te.
Razi Lawrence.
Et super te.
Francesca Long.
Et super te.
Ewan McInnes.
Et super te.
Laura McGorty.
Et super te.
Jessica Offlands.
Et super te.
Grace Ong.
Et super te.
Alice Palmer.
Et super te.
Aisha Qureshi.
Et super te.
Morven Reed.
Et super te.
Liam Rudd.
Et super te.
Sami Scully Husseini.
Et super te.
Eden Tolley.
Et super te.
Mamie Ure.
Et super te.
Lauren Wood.
Et super te.
Christy Yu.
Et super te. Facultatis Scientiae.
Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to confirm the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours on Georgina Evans.
Te ad gradum baccalaureae scientiae confirmo, cuius rei in symbolum super te hoc viretum impono.
Vineeth Joseph.
Et super te.
Olivia Stewart.
Et super te.
Henry Mamott.
Et super te.
Hannah Ware.
Et super te.
Chilla Pakosdi.
Et super te.
Sophie Terrell.
Et super te.
Simon Kadge.
Et super te.
Callum McCartan.
Et super te.
Jonathan Short.
Et super te.
Charlotte Knight.
Et super te.
Peter Knudsen.
Et super te.
Christina Pakosdi.
Et super te.
Catherine Goss.
Et super te.
Murray Hills.
Et super te.
Dwi Sertan.
Et super te.
Eleonora Chancilla.
Et super te.
Amelia White.
Et super te.
Kelly Gehagen.
Et super te.
Jonah Lemon.
Et super te.
Lydia Rutherford.
Et super te.
Tanya Savant.
Et super te.
Caitlin Watson.
Et super te.
Callum Orr.
Et super te.
Amy Lord.
Et super te.
Dylan Simpson.
Et super te.
Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to confirm the degree of Master in Chemistry with Honours on Charlotte Crowe.
Te ad gradum magistri in chemia confirmo, cuius rei in symbolum super te hoc bretum impono.
William Denman.
Et super te.
Clement Elliott.
Et super te.
Sarah Lamorte.
Et super te.
Chloe Martin.
Et super te.
Thomas Poskin.
Et super te.
Henry Woolley.
Et super te.
Emma Borthwick.
Et super te.
Alistair Nimmo.
Et super te.
Barbora Duksanska.
Et super te.
Catherine Burton.
Et super te.
Peter Stars.
Et super te.
Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to confirm the degree of Master in Mathematics with Honours on Robert McNutt.
Te ad gradum magistri in mathematicae confirmo, cuius rei in symbolum super te hoc bretum impono.
Lewis Ross.
Et super te.
Andrew Vitrino.
Et super te.
Carson McKee.
Et super te.
Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to confirm the degree of Master in Physics with Honours on Ian Mackenzie.
Te ad gradum magistri in philosophia naturali confirmo, cuius rei in symbolum super te hoc veretum impono.
Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to confirm the degree of Master of Science on James Butler.
Te ad gradum magistri scientiae confirmo, cuius rei in symbolum super te hoc veretum impono.
Rachel Flynn.
Et super te.
Tristan Fraser.
Et super te.
Niha Gatia.
Et super te.
Beatrice Ricarda Kawolik.
Et super te.
Petros Kyriakou.
Et super te.
Matthias Landweer.
Et super te.
Caterina Montovan.
Et super te.
Bernd Müller.
Et super te.
Sebastian Petersen.
Et super te.
Emilia Pinderoep.
Et super te.
Rachel Rice.
Et super te.
Sergio Schneider-Barbosa.
Et super te.
Julia Seeger.
Et super te.
Srilata Tata.
Et super te.
Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to confirm the degree of Master of Research on Hope Houseman.
Te ad gradum magistri investigationis confirmo, cuius rei in symbolum super te hoc veretum impono.
Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to confirm the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for a thesis entitled Genome Sequencing, Analysis, Heterologous Expression and Genetic Modification of Antibiotic Encoding Biosynthetic Gene Clusters, Emily Abraham.
Te ad gradum doctoris philosophiae confirmo, cuius rei in symbolum super te hoc veretum impono. Congratulations, Emily.
For a thesis entitled Exploiting Perisubstitution to Promote Coupling Reactions, Bethany Lawson.
Et super te. Congratulations, Bethany.
For a thesis entitled Exploiting Recognition-Mediated Processes for the Development of Chemical Complexity, David van Brussel.
Et super te. Congratulations, David. I call upon the Vice Principal, Research and Innovation, Professor Tom Brown.
Vice-Chancellor, colleagues, special guests and graduates, firstly I'd like to offer you my sincerest congratulations. I cannot tell you what a pleasure it is to see all of you from the class of 2020 sitting in front of me today. Many of you will have been expecting to sit here 2 years ago with your friends, families and supporters alongside. I'm sure that for some of you this may be a bittersweet day, as those who you thought would share it with you are no longer here, whether through the effects of COVID or otherwise. I'm also sure that all of us here are immensely proud of you and what you achieved in St Andrews and your continued success since leaving the university in that most unexpected and disrupted way in March 2020. I hope that you've enjoyed having the excuse to return to St Andrews and that many happy memories have been rekindled with your arrival back in the last few days. For my own part, I still remember vividly the day I arrived more than 23 years ago. It was on one of those winter, clear, cold days when you can see for miles. There was snow in the mountains and the waves were crashing on the beach. For many of our students, the beach is one of the focal points for life in St Andrews. It may be a morning jog up and down it, a beach barbecue with friends, or a spot of surfing in the North Sea. Honestly, how could you? Or even for other activities that I could not possibly comment upon. The beach and the sea are strongly interwoven with the university's history and custom. I'm sure that many of you here will have taken part in the May Dip. There is nothing like entering the sea in various levels of clothing at dawn on May Day to make you realise the benefits of even a poorly heated student house. Incidentally, the university website tells me the May Dip is meant to promote good luck in exams. Personally speaking, I think it's more likely to promote hypothermia and is a good example of why you should not always believe everything you read on the internet. I've also spent many of my years in St Andrews working as a member of the Coast Guard Rescue Service. And looking around the Younger Hall today, just checking, I can't see anyone I've had to rescue, which is probably a good thing. In many ways, the beach is a good metaphor for how life goes. There are high tides and low tides. Occasional storm-driven waves crash in to overwhelm us. Most importantly, there's always something interesting and unexpected in every rock pool that is explored. Many others have had similar thoughts as well. And as this is a mixed group of graduates from both arts and sciences, I tried to find a figure who covered both areas of expertise. The best I could come up with, and you have to remember here that I am a physicist, is Sir Isaac Newton, who in addition to his seminal works in maths and science, was also a renowned Bible scholar and economist in his time. Equally, he was famous for his experimental work, which included poking a wooden needle into his own eye and staring at the sun so long he temporarily blinded himself, which goes to show that a deep-seating, wide-ranging intellect and common sense are not always easy companions. In a quote attributed to Newton, he says, "I do not know what I may appear to the world, but to myself I seem to have been only like a boy playing on the seashore, and diverting myself in now and then finding a smoother pebble or a prettier shell than ordinary, whilst the great ocean of truth lay undiscovered before me. My great hope is that your time by the beach in St Andrews was not wasted, and that we, the university, have provided you with at least some of the basic strokes, or maybe the inflatable armbands that you need to start swimming in that great ocean of truth in your futures. Graduates, I'm also well aware that I'm one of the few things standing between you and a well-deserved celebration. So I would like to close by wishing you all well in the futures that you are already building. Remember that those magnificent beaches will always be here whenever you come back to visit. And please do, for you were, are, and will always be part of this university.
Please stand for the benediction.
Gratia Domini nostri Iesu Christi, et caritas Dei, et communicatio Spiritus Sancti, sit cum omnibus nobis, in saecula saeculorum. Amen.